What's up, Panther fans? You know this is Panther Show 89. Another game coming up here. Um, Looking at this one, breaking it down, dissecting it. We got the Cardinals. It feels like a team that we've owned historically. Obviously, they've beat us sometimes. Obviously, they gave us a beat down in the playoffs, but I said we did them one better in the NFC Championship game, and some other games to go along with that as well. This Cardinals team, looking at them here, they come in at 1-2, same record as ourselves. And last week they take one against the Rams, a close 20-12 loss. And then they beat the Raiders the week before that in a miracle fashion, overtime win. They had no business winning that game. They were getting the doors blown off them, came back and were able to sneak one out in overtime. And then they got the doors blown off of them by the Chiefs, which I think they had a lot of backups in that game. So not necessarily the fairest game to judge them off of. So you look at this game, looking into that Rams box score for them. I mean, Kyler Murray throws the ball 58 times. Now, I get the Rams, they have a good defense, good run stopping. But, man, to have your quarterback throw the ball 58 times, that's a lot. Like, I don't even understand how that even works out there. I mean, talking Matthew Stafford in that game was 18 of 25. And they only ran the ball. The Rams only ran it 20 times. And, I mean, the Cardinals ran it 21 times, but they threw the ball 58 fucking times. That's a lot to ask your quarterback to drop back and throw it. And especially when you're talking about a quarterback the size of Kyler Murray. Now, he is a slippery motherfucker back there. Like, he's probably the most elusive quarterback ever. I mean, I remember just watching him live when I went to see the Panthers give a good stomping to the Cardinals. I think it was his rookie year, I want to say. And he's impressive with how quick he is. And he obviously is able to escape pressure fairly well, but that's when he's kind of at his weakest, is when you're able to put that pressure on him and he's got to scramble around back there. Now, sometimes he does make some fantastic plays, but that's when he's kind of in trouble, and that's when you start to see him limping, because he is a small dude. Like, that guy is tiny. It's amazing what he can do, though. I mean, he is really good, and I don't mean to take that anything away from him. I mean, I would take him over Baker Mayfield, no question about it. So, it's going to come down to that. I don't think Arizona's honestly going to try to run the ball too heavily against us. I mean, coming in, they are averaging over 100 yards a game rushing, but, look, a lot of that is to do with Kyler Murray as well, when you can have your quarterback pick up, 30, 40 yards. Obviously, passing, they're averaging 265 yards passing. We're averaging 183 yards. This Cardinals defense is, again, they've suffered with some injuries, so it's not necessarily to say, man, they got a terrible defense. I don't think they have as good of a defense as, say, the Saints do, right? So I think should be able to move the ball a bit. Like I said, after the Saints game, this is a team that should be able to push the ball down the field. I mean, Baker should be able to throw the ball 30 yards, 40 yards, right? We got guys like Robbie and DJ that can get down the field. Would like to see us try to test the defense a little more. Maybe we can throw for over 200 yards. And, I get it's not all about, the box scores, but there is a level to it, right? Like, best teams in the league being the Bills, the Chiefs, the Rams. All these teams, most of the time, are going to have 200, 250 yards passing at least, because they're stretching the field. And if the Panthers want to be a great team, then they got to start doing that. But this is a big game. If you get the win here at home, go to 2-2. Your season is very well much alive at that point. You're definitely not dead. You go to 1-3. Obviously, you are not looking too good at that point. And then also, this game's starting a little late. We got the late afternoon start, about as close as we'll ever get to Sunday Night Football. I don't think we've even had a Sunday night game since, I want to say, 2016 against the Seahawks. So been quite a while for that. At this point, I'm just rambling shit, but injury front, looking okay. Nothing too serious. See J.C. Horns listed as questionable. Xavier Woods is questionable. Ian Thomas is questionable. But, I mean, overall, it seems like we're fairly healthy. Good news, I'm just looking down here. Sam Darnold's on the IR, which obviously has been on there for a minute, but it's always good news when you know he can't play. This is a game I do think the Panthers should win. And I think this might be the first week you see a little bit of an offensive explosion, more of like a 20, maybe a 31-28 type game. But yeah, this Cardinals team is interesting. I don't think their coach is very good. What's his name? Cliff Kingsbury. I think he's okay. He coddles his players, I think, a bit. But yeah, overall, this Cardinals team, they've been in the playoffs. They've been in the hunt. They obviously don't have their big weapon in Hopkins because he's a cheating motherfucker. So he's got to sit out, I think it was for 6 games or something. So they are lacking weapons. That is for sure. The defense just, does what they did last week. We'll be just fine. Offense obviously cannot have turnovers, can't do dumb shit. And this should be a very, very winnable game. I don't see us getting beaten, right? Or at least beaten handedly. I mean, it's the NFL. Who knows? But this is a game where you can look back at the schedule and you go, yeah, we should have won that one. Or that's one we got to win. And beat this Cardinals team. That's a fairly impressive victory. But I think that's about all for this video. So thanks for watching. Go Panthers.